The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
I don't get it. Okay, if Elias Pettersson hates the media, then why does he just give them so much ammo? It makes no sense. Okay, the once cerebral Pettersson is no longer just that. Okay, let's talk about it on Locked On Canucks.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
A happy Monday, and it feels like a goddamn Monday here on Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks, and also Canucks writer currently with Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we get into it here, we got to thank you for tuning into Locked On Canucks, because it is your Canucks every damn day. And we're not here without you and you and you and you and you and you tuning in. We're also not here without those sponsors. And today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Never mind $5, man. I might bet the house on Elias Pettersson not bouncing back this season, because man, oh man, the guy seems to be blaming everyone but himself. And you know, the Vancouver media, I'm not sure if it gets a lot of love from both our listeners or greater fan base here. But you know, I think when Pettersson had his comments last night about how annoying it was to deal with the media, how it's more annoying than his questions about his confidence. I think a lot of people are going to bat for the media and not Elias Pettersson. So, you know, let's break down how the hell we got here. I want to talk a bit about the media thing too, and how it really has changed over the past few seasons and throughout now most of Pettersson's NHL career. And just do some venting here on Locked On Canucks, because this feels like dark times. And Kyle, I know we came out of the break 6-1-1. There was some optimism there. But man, oh man, it definitely feels like the ceiling of this team is falling further and further down right now. So let's get into it. Kyle, tell me how you're feeling, brother.
I'm just disappointed, man. I'm just disappointed. Kyle Bound, Trevor Beggs, Locked On Canucks. But yeah, just disappointed, man. Again, the cerebralness, okay? Remember when Pettersson was just ahead of things? You know what I'm saying? I could see the future, and here he is just creating more noise. And to be honest, sounding quite stupid. And not being a leader. Real leaders only blame themselves. Real leaders don't give quotables like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is going on with you? This is a sign that it's not only tendonitis, but it's also, again, confidentitis, and also just dumb ass-itis. Okay, honestly speaking, like he's not himself. And this is why I keep saying, shut this guy down before he turns into Ben Simmons. Okay, first I called him Joel Embiid. But shut this guy down before he turns into Ben Simmons. Because I don't even know if he can handle all the noise that he's creating for himself. Who does this? You miss a breakaway. A couple minutes later, Utah scores. Like, you missed the net on a breakaway, okay? The biggest sign of you don't got your game together, okay? Elias Pettersson, 11.6. You missed the net. You don't get robbed. You missed the net. And then hours later, you get asked about your confidence, right? And the first thing you say is the media is more annoying. What? The media is more annoying than the lack of confidence you have? You have this all twisted, man. You have this all twisted. Your ego is so inflated. You're not being accountable. You know what I'm saying? And you're taking things way too personal. And because of all of the above, and then you throw in the tendonitis, like, this guy is not finding his game until he grows up. Or levels up. One or the other.
Damn, man, I'm not much of an NBA guy, but the Ben Simmons comparison there, Kyle, for even the casual NBA fans, that one's starting to hit home a bit. So, Ben Simmons, for those who don't know, looks like a stud through his first 4 NBA seasons, and then I believe he missed an entire year with a holdout back injury, and just has not been the same player over the past 3 seasons now, I believe, since coming back to the NBA. Look, later on in the show, I will try to find ways to give Pettersson some kudos here, but this is dark times, man.
Trevor, the kudos is you're playing hurt. Congratulations. Good. Like, you're being strong in that realm. Like, you're playing hurt. Kudos to you. But the noise you're creating for yourself and the lack of leadership you're showing outside of just doing the bare minimum because you're hurt on the ice is just it's a sign of immaturity. And again, him taking it personal, like it sounds like as if he has a vendetta against like the city and the culture here and the Canucks and now the media. It's like, dude, this is on you. It's on you. You're paced for 56 points this year. You're probably not going to get to that. It's like crazy.
Yeah, it's wild, man. And again, to hear Pettersson talk about how, it's more annoying dealing with the media. Kyle, that's like if I was in the sack and, I'm not performing. That's like me going to blame my wife for, her being the issue with me not performing, or blaming the candles smelling weird, or the mood lighting not being right. The right song's not on. Who cares, man? Just get your stiffy and go to town, man. Come on. And at least he's missing that stiffy right now. And I don't know if you can legally just give this guy some Viagra or hop him up on whatever out there, but he's lacking mojo and then some. But I will say this, Kyle. So Frank Saravalli, we've taken a few shots at him in this program. He had some comments this morning, and he kind of ripped into Pettersson as well. It's funny when I hear Canucks media ripping into Pettersson, I'm always like, yeah, that's fair, that's deserved. When national media rips in, I'm like, what are you talking about? What? Leave our boy alone, man. What are you talking about? But Frank Saravalli talked about how, Pettersson, always making excuses. First it was JT Miller, then it was the tendonitis, now it's the media. Fair comments to an extent, but he says he's blaming everyone but himself. I will say that Pettersson on a number of occasions has blamed himself, and Kyle, I totally agree that there is a level of immaturity with Pettersson when he goes out and blames everyone but himself. Like, you just got to be more calm, cool, and collected in those scrums when you're talking to media. And again, not in a threatening atmosphere last night at all. Like, he's on the road talking to Ian McIntyre away from the cameras on a one-on-one. Like, that is one of the least threatening scenarios I can imagine. He drops a quote like this.
And he's being asked about his confidence. He's being asked about his confidence. He's not even being asked about frustrations in general. He's being I'm paraphrasing, but he's being asked, like, why are you double clutching your shot? Why are you missing the net on a breakaway? Oh, because the media. Because the media. And this guy talked about the media being frustrating a couple weeks ago at the Four Nations when the whole tournament started. Like, it was a frustrating season with the media. And it's like, look what happened. JT Miller just got traded. That's a media thing. You're part of that. You're part of that problem too. And Pettersson, like again, like him not being cerebral. And I don't think I'm looking too into this, but it's like how do I say this? It's like him saying a couple weeks ago that he wants the pressure, he wants the smoke, and then him saying the media is frustrating at the Four Nations. Then he's like being asked about his confidence. He's like, the media is annoying. You know what I'm saying, Trevor? Like, that's a sign that this guy has no mojo. He's a shell of himself, and it's loser mentality, man. It's loser mentality, and it's just not good enough. Again, this team needs leadership, and at least do it off the ice if you're not doing it on the ice. Like, you're creating more noise, and you think any of his teammates, honestly speaking, you think any of his teammates want to hear this guy not blame himself? No, seriously. They want this guy holding himself accountable. You know how immature it is in game 57 when you have 30-something points and haven't done shit all season for him to blame the media? Like, how do you think that like resonates to the rest of the lineup?
Yeah, you can't. His team can't be impressed with him right now. And again, there's something severely lacking from this team. I don't want to say it's because JT Miller is gone, but like Brock Besser's not stepping up. Elias Pettersson, he looks like me trying to play hockey out there right now, man. Just discombobulated, disjointed, but good defensive presence. Okay, that's the way I play ball hockey. Let's go. But yeah, Elias Pettersson right now. Look, I will say again, I mentioned it before. He has come out to the media and blamed himself before, but that's what you gotta keep doing it, man. Like,
you're doing it.
You're not playing junior hockey. You're not talking to a reporter for the Linden Times here or something like that. Come on, man. Like, you're in the freaking NHL. Like, be a man, suck it up, and answer the questions. Don't be blaming the media for it, especially on a one-on-one with Ian McIntyre, who, dude's one of the nicest dudes, man. Like, Ian McIntyre is a nice dude. Again, super non-threatening atmosphere there. But again, I don't know. I hear Frank Saravalli kind of ripping him like he's blaming everyone but himself. He has blamed himself before, but you got to keep doing that, especially when you miss the net on a breakaway.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man. Kyle, you could have hit that net, man.
Oh my God. No, it's just the weirdest signing, the weirdest timing on that quote. Like, be better, bro. Be better. You know, like, come on. What happened to you, dude? What happened? It's like you giving up on the season. And again, like, he's taking it personal. I'm telling you, now I'm connecting way too many dots, and tell me I'm wrong. Go ahead in the comments. I don't know. But I feel as if this guy is holding a vendetta against the team, okay? Like, he was threatened to get traded to Buffalo, Carolina last season, right? The Canucks got a good package for Pettersson last year, and they're like, you know what? We might trade you tomorrow, so sign this contract. Okay, maybe Pettersson didn't like that because he liked to keep his cards to his chest, and he wanted to be like Suits about it, okay? He wanted to be like the top negotiator in the world about it, and boom, next thing you know, like, gone is his leverage, and he has to sign this deal. Okay, well, sorry you didn't have it your way, but you just made $100 million. Get over it that it didn't go your way, and you didn't get to sign the contract in the summer. You had to sign it in the spring. Get over it. Dude, you're lucky you just signed that deal for 11.6. If you continued to play the way you did going into the playoffs, you wouldn't have made 11.6, okay? So just get over the fact that you were forced to sign that contract. Get over the fact that the organization didn't have your back when you told everyone else, the media, your friends, the media, you told everyone that you had tendonitis when every single player on that team, I'm not talking coaching staff, management, every other player on that team who was playing with something said nothing. Because maybe they were trying to build that culture, that no excuse culture, right? Very Quinn Hughes-esque, if you ask me, okay? Very JT Miller-esque as well, okay? So again, are you mad at Alvin and Rutherford and Tocchet going into the summer because they didn't have your back? They didn't stroke your tendonitis when they were asked about it? Oh, now you're taking that personal? Okay, I get it. There could be some animosity, but we're trying to win here, aren't we? We're a team. Get over it. There's 100 million reasons why to get over it, and you still didn't get over it. Then you go into the season like this, and you're struggling, and you're not in shape, and maybe that's because of the tendonitis. Maybe that's because you didn't really listen to the training plan that this team had for you because, again, you want to do things your way. Apparently, you don't even listen to Henrik and Daniel. That came out today. You guys are not even close because you just want to be a solo Lone Ranger and do everything yourself, right? You're that guy. I don't need to listen to nobody. I'm Elias Pettersson. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm seeing. So now you're doing that. And then you go into the season and you and JT Miller can't get along. You're asked about it after Tocchet and Hughes ratted you guys out. And what do? You blame the media and you walk away from a press conference or a little scrum looking like a little bit like you're not a leader. You're not a leader. I know a lot of stuff's been going on around you, but the best of the best, bro, they hold it down and they're accountable. They don't get bitter. They get better. Shout out to Ricky for that. But this guy has taken it so personal. Everything's so personal. You're $100 million guy. Relax. Help the team win. Focus on your game. But if Trevor, you know more than anyone. We've lived, 31 years of life, okay? You start living your life and you start living your day by day holding this vendetta or this grudge against people for not seeing eye to eye with you or just taking it personal. You're losing. You're losing every day you live like that. Because at the end of the day, whether you're pissed at them or not, I guarantee all of it is constructive. All of it deeply rooted in that thing that doesn't align with you is for the betterment of you. But because you have such a big ego and you can't listen to nobody, you think you can figure out everything on your own, and you're ignoring, again, whether it be Tocchet or the Sedins or Alvin and Rutherford or all this stuff. It's like, dude, he's got to get over himself, man. And that's why I keep saying, shut this guy down. Shut this guy down before this gets even worse. Whether it be because of the play, whether it's because of the microphones in front of him, but because man, oh man, what happened yesterday, it hurt his trade value so much because he's looking more like a problem. Okay, not just on the ice. I'm talking in the room, being a little soft. Like the trade value is, bro. It's Elias Pettersson and a 5th round pick for Dylan Cousins. That's what I'm saying right now.
Yeah, but you're probably not that far off, Kyle. And, as we get to the other side here, I do want to talk about, we're starting to get more signs about why the Canucks wanted to trade both Miller and Pettersson, which, seemed like a wild proposition at the time. But we're starting to see like why that's the case with the Vancouver Canucks.
This right here might be the comment of the year, okay? Defending Pettersson got me feel like I'm defending Kanye. Okay, let me read that again. Defending Pettersson got me feeling like I'm defending Kanye West, man. I can't keep doing this shit. Get the commercial break, okay, Trevor?
Man, oh man, this episode brought to you by Blame Game by Kanye West. Actually, maybe our sponsor will help out Pettersson. Come on, man, Pettersson, you need some juice, man. Come on, have some nuts, man, and have the nuts from wonderful pistachios. Man, oh man, nothing like a bunch of nuts in your mouth. That's what helps a man feel better. You hear that, Elias Pettersson? All right, and wonderful pistachios. They got that snack that's both delicious and nutritious and a good source of protein, baby. Wonderful pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. That help you not get knocked down on the ice. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help you feeling fuller for longer. Personally, I like a naked baby, so it could be the no shells variety. But if you like the teas, they also got that wonderful pistachios, got that in-shell option for you as well. And they are a classic favorite. So get snacking and get crack-a-lacking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more.
Eat those nuts, gargle them in your mouth, see what happens. Let's get back to the show. People, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. My name is Kyle Bowen. That right there is Trevor Beggs. We're going to get to a lot of your comments at the end of the show. I think Trevor Beggs has to leave in 10 minutes. So, again, we'll save the end for the comments. But Beggsy, again, can we just touch on that a little bit more? Like what I brought up with the Sedins? Again, Bruff, I don't know why he thought of today out of all days to bring up the fact that Pettersson can't work with Henrik and Daniel because supposedly, like, they're not close like that. Which is surprising because, again, Pettersson comes the year after the Sedins retire. You think that, like, there would be a match made in heaven there. I don't know, like, how do you feel about that? Because you and I last summer said, those three got to be a threesome. Like, they got to work together. And, like, if anything, and you look at the age in which Henrik and Daniel found their game and became elite. Now, Pettersson found that earlier in his career, but right now you could argue that, like, he's playing like Henrik did when he was 24, 25, right? Or maybe like a little bit younger. All in all, though, like, what do you have to say about those reports?
Well, I think it just gives more credence to the fact that Elias Pettersson isn't on an island by himself right now, right? Like the fact that you don't want to use and support and be around, the two franchise icons, like two guys who you should be learning from, two guys who, dealt with the media pressure and used it to stars and fuel themselves. Like there's a number of reasons why, like Elias Pettersson, he should just be saying F the rent. He should be living with Henrik and Daniel Sedin. So yeah, those reports are pretty baffling. And it's interesting, man. Like the last practice I attended, it was Daniel Sedin chatting with JT Miller on the boards for like 5 minutes. Elias Pettersson was right there, and I don't think the two of them even said a word to each other. And again, that's just one practice, but man, oh man, like the Sedins should be in Pettersson's ear constantly, but the Sedins are there. Pettersson wants them. But I mean, they can't force the guy to listen to the Sedins, and there's no good in that if he's not going to listen anyway. So yeah. I mean, again, these reports about Pettersson being a lone wolf, you're starting to see it more and more. And God, I think you're starting to see more and more the reason why management was interested in trading both Pettersson and Miller, which seemed like an asinine idea at the time. But with Miller, I think you hear reports about him being hot-headed, maybe saying some things behind the scenes that people didn't like. He rubbed people the wrong way. Potentially even rubbed a guy like Quinn Hughes the wrong way. And Rick Tocchet, which, again, two guys who, have commanded respect over the years in completely different ways. And with Elias Pettersson, you're starting to see it as well. Like, Miller was maybe hot-headed and rubbed people the wrong way with his words and actions. Pettersson is also rubbing people the wrong way with his words and actions in a completely different way, too, in terms of blaming everyone but himself, by being a lone wolf, by being full of himself, man, when he's proven nothing. Yeah. He's proven nothing, man. I mean, sure, he's put up points and he's looked good for a long stretch of his NHL career, but this is an industry of what have you done for me lately? And what has he done for the Canucks lately? He's commanded the biggest salary in team history while performing like Philip Deneau. I mean, it's not acceptable.
Yeah, it's not acceptable, man. It's not acceptable. And for everyone that thinks that, like, he'll do better in a different market, well, sure, because the bar is pretty low. The bar is pretty low. But, as an organization, as a fan base. Like when you see moments like this and you're like, how in game 57 is he blaming the media? Like how is he giving quotables like that and bringing on the noise even more? You know, it's again, like he's so out of it. You start questioning, like, is he more like Ben Simmons, or is he ever going to get back to Elias Pettersson? If he's not going to get back to Elias Pettersson, but he's going to get better, is he going to be worth 11.6, even with the cap rising up? Like you got to ask all these questions. And yeah, just confusing times. And again, whatever happened yesterday was unnecessary. And just to like not poo-poo off of your lone wolf comment, like I feel like Ian McIntyre wrote about that earlier as well. So it's not confirmed, but it's like, yo, something's off. And when your highest paid player and the guy who's been around there the longest, again, isn't like one of the main guys in the room, isn't one of the guys that like are bringing everyone together. Like if he's not one of those guys, and then he's also not doing it on the ice, and then he gives quotables to the media like he is, I'm telling you, when I hear reports from Cam Robinson a couple weeks ago talking about how like, yo, like the dressing room may be looking at pointing the finger at Pettersson too, like they're not happy about that, it keeps drawing me back to my point that I made, that his aura across the league is completely damaged. It's completely damaged. Whereas maybe 2 months ago, people are more so blaming Miller for Pettersson's confidence issues and more so blaming Miller for their relationship not being good. Whereas now, it's a 50-50 thing. It's a 50-50 thing. It is. And you want to bring that guy in the room, you're going to trade a bunch of assets to bring in like 7 more years of that when you don't know what you're going to get, what type of leader you're going to get. Oh, you're not even going to get a leader. You know? And the more I look at it, I'm like, why do you think last year, again, I'm sorry that we're doing this. Like there's so many important games going on this week, and we'll talk more about the games in a couple of days. But yo, Pettersson, man, you can blame Trevor and I for talking about this, or you can blame Pettersson, but you're just giving us the ammo. Like why, going back to that press conference at the end of the Oilers series last year, why do you think now he was the only one to disclose his injury? Like, what was he afraid? Afraid that could he not take the smoke of having 6 points in 13 playoff games or whatever if he didn't excuse his injury? Like again, he's the only one that said something, like other than Brock Besser, who had the blood issue and the wrist issue as well. But yeah, like that, because I feel like that was the moment everything changed.
Right. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's you think it probably changed around the time he signed that contract, right? He talked about the contract weighing on him, much like he did in 2021 when he talked about that contract weighing on him too. So, look, he's a guy that lets outside pressure get to him, and there was a lot of outside pressure during the playoffs, right? He was terrible in those playoffs, and we were all grasping at straws trying to defend him, but he was bad. And yeah, I think for reading between the tea leaves, you got a guy who's full of himself, who's playing like crap. Of course, he's looking for an excuse to blame things. And look, I don't think the tendonitis was a lie, but like you said, Kyle, there's a lot of other guys playing banged up with certain issues at that time as well. Kyle, one last point I want to make before we cut to break, and I'll see if I can stick around for a comment or two before I bounce. The media thing, and I'm trying to do some digging myself to see if this is specific to Vancouver or not. But you've heard other guys talk about it. Everything in the media changed after COVID in terms of player access, right? Like back in the day, you could just walk into the dressing room, you could talk to any player. It was much more open, easier to have one-on-one conversations, easier to get answers to people, easier to develop relationships with players in the team, to get good information, get good quotes, get good intel. All that's pretty much gone. And I've only been in that dressing room in a post-COVID world, so it's all I've really known. But I remember being shocked the first time I was in the dressing room. Like, I expected like everyone to be sitting at their stall, and you walk in and it's just like players are everywhere, and it's not like that at all. Like, it's like a ghost town in the dressing room. Like, it's a little bit better after a practice, I find, but after a game, like it's almost empty. Like there might be a couple guys at their stalls, but mostly everyone is cleared out by that point. And all you have there is a row of reporters waiting for one guy to come out and talk to the media. And look, it's just not a way for a media to build relationships with players and get good stories. But I think it also creates apprehension from players towards the media as well, because all they know is walking out by themselves to a scrum full of cameras and reporters. And I think for Elias Pettersson, you get a guy who's already proven to be a bit prickly around media, and now that's the environment that he gets to know media around. So, look, I'm not using it as an excuse, but I think just for Pettersson and other Canucks in general, it does create more friction between player and the media, more disdain by players towards media as well. So, and Canucks PR has been the creator of that, right? And you could blame COVID a little bit, but Canucks PR is to blame too. Like, they haven't brought the things back to the way they used to be. So, yeah, I know, bit of a tangent there, but I'm not a huge fan of the setup right now, and I don't think it's healthy for players and the media.
Well, even so, man, it's like Pettersson, like, just use the cliches then. Like, stand in there, take the punches, use the cliches, and get out of here. Get out of there. Don't like get asked about the Miller beef and just walk away from the scrum looking like, you're about to break. Like, be that beacon of light for the fan base and your locker room. Don't be asked about your confidence and blame the media. Like, use the cliches. Even if you don't have as much media training or PR training, look at how a guy like Quinn Hughes talks to the media. He just looks stoic. He looks serious, and then he says all the same boring shit all the time. Bare minimum. I know we want more personality, but Quinn Hughes shows enough personality on the ice. Okay, we're okay with it. But again, just the lack of accountability and just the noise the drama that he wants to create, dude. It's like, dude, like, just you're blaming people with microphones. Like, yo, like, A, play better, and B, don't give any juice. Don't give any more juice. Don't make any more drama. Don't make any more noise. Just get to work, man. Just get to work and don't become Ben Simmons, please. Anyways, who's shouting out before we get to all these comments?
Oh, man. All right, let's shout out our friends over at FanDuel. You listen to Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every day. All right, when the going gets tough, when the game tips off, the NBA is in action. The NHL is also in action, and there's no better place to get in on that action than on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening, you can stay in on the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, and you like to risk the biscuit, baby, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. Now, Kyle, I wanted to look up this for the ad right here. The Vancouver Canucks' chances of making the playoffs. Right now on FanDuel, the Canucks' odds of making the playoffs, -162. So they are favored to get into the playoffs right now. But looking at their competition, the Calgary Flames +250, the Utah Hockey Club +430 to make it to the playoffs right now. Man, oh man. If I was any more of a degenerate, I might be placing a few bucks on the Utah Hockey Club.
Wow, dude, what kind of asshole are you, man? Relax, man. Like, you're going to put your money and support the team that's chasing us? Like,
I'm not going to, but I'm saying if I was more of a degenerate, I would. And if you're a degenerate, all jokes aside, and you have problems with gambling, check out the phone numbers and links in the disclaimer on this episode. But right now on FanDuel, if you're a new customer, bet $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to join today.
Okay, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks and Elias Pettersson. Some people would refer this to another episode of wah. Honestly, I know it's annoying, but Elias Pettersson is annoying right now too. Okay, let's get to some comments and wrap this episode up. Again, you're listening to Locked On Canucks. Hey, do us all a favor right now and hit the like button, even though you find this annoying. Okay, we're sorry. I don't know. Okay, what does this mean? EP is the new ED. This comes from I'm Not Your Friend guy. Why are you laughing? Who's ED? Like, is it Eric Dangle or like what?
I can't tell if you're. I can never tell if you're joking about this stuff or not. But I think he's saying EP is the new erectile dysfunction.
Oh, okay.
You think about Pettersson and go, ew.
Okay, all right. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. There's sometimes where I'm making love and I'm thinking about the Canucks.
I think
I'm so addicted.
Every guy has their tricks to last a little longer. And for me, it's okay. Like, what's something non-sexual that I can think about right now, so I don't blow the load. And so sometimes I'll revert to the Canucks too. So
there you go, man. That's a good strategy. Okay, you want to last longer in bed, you start thinking about
Kyle Bound and Trevor Beggs. You'll be all right.
That line. Okay, next call. Okay, Zest is saying, I like the positivity. We just need Hughes back to come back and we make the playoffs. Obviously, that's the truth. It's the truth. I've been saying it. We're like, I guess we're chasing Calgary now, considering that they have the game in hand, if I'm correct, and they're only 1 point behind. So in theory, you could say we're chasing Calgary. Utah's behind us, and yeah, with Quinn Hughes back, we have enough to make the playoffs. On that note, though, Trevor, I'm not gonna go down the dark path of like losing Quinn Hughes in like 2.5 years, but what if the Canucks win a playoff round this year somehow, some way? What if they beat Vegas or somehow they beat the Oilers? Like, is that enough? Like, to convince Hughes that like the defense, the foundation, the goaltending is here? Because like, you know what I'm saying? Filipino, guarantee if we win one playoff round, it's because of Filipino too.
I mean, Quinn Hughes is a pretty smart guy, but it depends how they do it, right? I mean, sports is a crazy thing. Never say never. I mean, I didn't think that Ryan O'Reilly and the last place Blues were going to win a Stanley Cup with an ECHL goaltender in net. So, like, stranger things have happened, and I think Canuck fans, I keep going back to this, man, to try to be positive. Like, Canucks fans have been through so much pain, so much misery, so much sadness throughout their 54, 55 years of existence. Like, somehow, some way, it's got to change one day. And it just feels like even when the team starts to be on the upswing, something else bad happens. But, man, oh man, I'm just prepared to be suddenly surprised one day and wake up with the Canucks are Stanley Cup champions. So you never know, man. You never know.
Drink water. Just drink water. Get to 110 years old. Keep buying those chances. And yeah, I mean, we don't have to talk about it now, but this has definitely been one of the most disappointing Canucks seasons of all time. Next comment. Holy man, the people just upset, man. Okay, the Weekend Nacho saying his comment has me so triggered. Again, like I knew, like that's why he didn't need to make that comment. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have to bring up the media thing. He could have just said something else, and everything would have been okay. Okay, it is what it is. Any other comments he's here? Like I'm trying to. There's so much.
Yeah, I'm gonna get to this one from Zest. The problem is if his skating isn't there, his shot should be. He should just be letting shots rip for rebounds like 8 times a night. Yeah. He could find ways to easily produce despite the injuries. And that's why it really isn't all injuries. It's a mad case of the yips, right? Yeah. And again, I think he just wants to play hero and he's not making the simple play right now. Like, just get the freaking puck on net. And like Rick Tocchet alluded to it last night. And behind closed walls, he must be banging his head against the wall like the rest of us, right? So, yeah. And that's why, Kyle, you talked about playoffs and it's like, as bad as Pettersson's been, it's like, oh God, I'm scared to say this, but it feels like I'm not sure how much worse it can get, to be honest with you, right? Like he looks slow, he's not shooting. Like his defensive game could fall off a cliff because he's taking risks, and those risks don't pay off. Like, is that the next low? But it just seems like it can't get much worse than it is right now. But man, oh man, it is tough to watch.
What a time. Okay, next comment. Okay, you gotta go. I
gotta go. Okay, peace, man.
One love to Trevor Beck, second best dad in the world. I'm going to get to some more comments because I love y'all, man. Okay, the one that I want to get to was from Elston, okay? Where the hell is it? Am I blind here? He said something that's A-okay right here. Okay, Elston saying, imagine being worth $100 million and having zero swagger. Yo, that's what I'm saying, Pettersson. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, why are you taking everything so personal, man? Whether it be being forced to sign a $100 million contract or, again, being thrown under the bus by the coaching staff and the management group when they didn't, again, hold a private or personal press conference for you to talk about your tendonitis, okay? They didn't pair you with a doctor to make that announcement. Like, who cares? Get over it. You got Quinn Hughes on your team. The team's also dealing with a lot of like other injuries. Like, be a leader. You're worth $100 million. You wanted the noise. You wanted the pressure. You signed for $100 million and you have no swagger right now, whether it be on the ice or off the ice. And again, Pettersson's so cerebral back in the day. And not that long ago, he was so cerebral. He could see the future. But right now, he's just like, yo, what's going on? And just don't do it because I don't want to scare you guys. But go search up the downfall of Ben Simmons. And there could be some correlations. So, damn, bro, this is one of the most interesting cases in the world of sport right now. Okay, next comment. Syndicat saying, looking forward to the day the Canucks move on from Elias Pettersson. I'm not as frustrated as I am. The guy's still young, He could grow up. He could learn some lessons. Like, he desperately needs to hang out with somebody like Henrik and Daniel Sedin. Like, he needs to just listen, okay? Stop listening to yourself, right? Again, when you're down and out, Don't listen to your mind. Don't listen to your head. Listen to somebody else. Take someone's hand and just follow the lead, okay? For real. Get out of your own way. But apparently this guy never wants to get out of his own way. He wants to figure it out all on his own, okay? The lone wolf. You're not that guy, Pettersson. You're not that guy right now. Don't listen to yourself. Yeah, in the past, when you're 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, you had one struggling year there, and you were able to figure it out. You worked your way out of it. But here we are again, 13 months into one of the most historic downfalls in NHL history. After you signed a deal worth $11.6 million a year. And you continue to, well, it seems like you just don't want help. That's frustrating. It really is. Last comment. Mother Nucker saying elite players always rise to the challenge and look to get better by any means necessary. Crosby, McDavid, Barkov. I'd even throw Draisaitl in there as well. McDavid. Pettersson, like deep down, under all the noise, under all the distractions, under all the personal, like all under the tendonitis. Again, we're trying to find the cure for tendonitis. Okay, don't worry, we're working on it. We're working on it. Okay, we'll figure it out. But even underneath the tendonitis, there's this immaturity. There's this lack of leadership. There's a lack of a lot of things there. Man, blaming the media, man. People saying he needs a sports psychologist, a sports therapist. Yeah. Who knows, man? Even if he had a sports therapist, like, this guy's not listening to Henrik and Daniel. Like, is he going to listen to a sports therapist? I don't know. He needs to get out of his own way. Again, don't get better, get better. Sometimes just take the L. Lefty saying he wants me to read his comment. What comment do you want me to read? There's so many here. Okay. Crazy. Next comment. Pettersson is going to be on an episode of Unsolved Mysteries this year. Yo. I mean, I feel like the mystery's already solved. It's confidence. It's the Miller thing. It's the tendonitis. It's him not being able to get out of his own way. You could put some blame on, like, management as well. Like, they've openly criticized Pettersson, and I feel as if, like, he's just not that guy to handle that. Like, there's been a lot of miscues. And, yeah. I don't know. Anyways, man, I gotta get out of here, man. I gotta get out of here. Okay, let's just, you know what? Can we all get together, hit the like button, and just, you know what? Let's just. I will find the cure for tendonitis, okay? I promise. I will. I got this city's back, okay? Everyone hit the like button, support the show. And Pettersson, if you watch this episode, sorry, not sorry, okay? That was another episode of Locked On Canucks. One love to the Don't Doze Art Lab. Have a good morning, a good afternoon, a good night. We don't know when you're watching this if you're not watching this live, but we truly do appreciate it. Peace.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.